There's one I really wish I could talk about. It was in 4K ultra high definition video. Anybody sees that video, and there's people in the intel community that have seen it, and they're just like, okay, yeah, that's a game changer.
Well, you're a veteran of this game, having been in it for the last 16, 17 years, whatever it is, when you were first read in. And yet when you come into it, you're joining a guy like Hal Puthoff, who's been read in for, at that point, like 45 years.
Oh, brother, don't think that fact didn't weigh on me. Every single person there had more experience than me by a lot.
But you're also you're there with like Michael Jordan. Like, how do you even concept or conceive like
you don't compete with Michael Jordan. You help Michael Jordan. When you're on the team and you come into the new team and you're with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, you don't compete with them. You support them. That's what you do.
You're Steve Kerr.
Not even that. I'm the guy who's in the sidelines, giving them towels. I'm the towel boy and the water boy. No, you don't. And everybody has, I think, and God, I don't want to say everybody's a tool because people, you're a tool. But the reality is that I look at all of us as tools in toolbox. And some of us are hammers, some of us are wrenches, some of us are screwdrivers. And you don't use a hammer to do a screwdriver's work. Yeah. And you don't use a screwdriver to do a hammer's work, right? So we all have our own skills, just like you have yours. With your audience, I could never do your job. I'd fail miserably. There are people in the government that have very specific niche capabilities. And when you can bring them all together, that's what makes a successful team. That's why you succeed. You got a great producer, you're doing what you're doing here, and you've got the right people and the right audience, and it's a team effort. It's the same thing with ATIP. It's the same thing with anything in the government, whether it's special operations or anything else. It is a team effort. It's a team that succeeds, and there is no I in team. In fact, I used to make a point when I talk to people about leadership, because everybody in government for some reason thinks they're a leader, and they think rank means something.
No.
I know.
I would never believe that.
It's insane. Yeah. And, I usually tell people, anybody who says that they're a leader probably isn't, because a real leader never says that they're a leader.
What's understood doesn't need to be explained.
100%. And, in government, a leader should never say the words me, mine, or I. It's always us, we, and ours, right? This is our team, and we succeed together. And it's not, this is my staff. Get the hell out of here. It ain't your staff. Government people are paying for it. Moron. You're a manager. You're not a leader. Big difference. You manage people. And by the way, there was a saying by somebody, a quote that I used to like, where they say a manager will always say go. A leader says, let's go. And I would take that even a step further. A great leader says, I'll go first. I'm through the door first. And those are the signs of leadership. And that is how you succeed, whether it's chasing UFOs or it's chasing bad guys or being a politician. We are just so used to people in these positions of authority saying, me, mine, and I,
Yeah.
And I'm the director and my staff and my administration. Well, hold on there, cowboy. It ain't your administration. It's my administration. It's our administration. We're paying for it, right? You're just doing the job we asked you to do. That ain't your administration. That's the people's administration. But we're so accustomed to it. We're so used to it that we just accept it now.
Yeah.
And I reject it, man. I think this is part of our problem. And it's not just in the Department of Defense. It's not just in the CIA or in the intelligence community. It's the whole government now, man. And we are okay with it. Why? Yeah. Why have we got so used to, so accustomed to that mindset that we just not only do we not do anything about it, we agree with it?
Well, yeah, and I understand what you're saying, and also, like, you're a humble guy, but I don't think there's, from the outside, based on the story we've been given, which is what we can go off of, I don't think there's any evidence to not say you haven't had a clear leadership role, whether you like it or not, in whatever this is, the disclosure movement or something like that. I mean, you're one of the guys. This was a little hazy for me, so correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't want to be a leader
details.
in this conversation. I shouldn't be. There should be no one more important than anybody else.
But you're one of the guys that's responsible, or I think the leader that's responsible for, like, releasing the gimbal video, getting those things out.
Sure, I was one of the first guys out of the plane door, but I'm not the invasion force, brother. I'm not. This is where again, well, it shouldn't be anybody. It shouldn't be a who. That's my point to all this. There shouldn't be any one person in charge, and I think that's part of why we're succeeding now, because this has been such a grassroots movement. It has really been something amazing. This is global, man. There are people all over the world, man, that are rallying for full disclosure, and that's not because of me. I mean, they see me on a TV show or something like that, but I didn't make this happen. This is I think this is a coalescing of people. Really, if I had to really give anybody credit, it's you guys. It's your generation. My generation spent the last 70 years screwing this topic up. It's your generation that are saying, you know what, we want the truth. You know what,
we
can
got
handle
the
it.
internet.
So I think you guys, my generation has done a good job of blaming you guys. Like it's, you guys in social media. Why do you always stuck in social media and YouTube? Look, my generation invented it, right? So who's at fault here?
Right.
Ain't you, us. I think we are where we are today in this conversation because your generation has decided not to allow the stigma and taboo that my generation imposed on this conversation. And you're just having a dialogue. And that's really why we're having the conversation now.
Well, and it's also the tools that are at our disposal to be able to spread things around the internet such that when we get evidence like the 2004 Fravor videos, the FLIR video, or the 2009 gimbal video, which involves some of our carrier ships and everything, like we can at least look at something physical on the screen and say, oh, shit.
Right.
Now you saw the 2004 video for the first time in 2009, I believe, right?
Yeah, that was actually by Chad Underwood. It wasn't by Fravor. Fravor was there as an eyewitness, but the video was actually taken by another aircraft afterward by Chad Underwood.
Okay, and that one again showed the Tic Tac that was moving in ways that would match some of the 5 observables.
Correct,
like, wait a minute.
correct.
What was the first time you saw that? Did you? I mean, you talk about being one of these gradual guys, like where you gradually start.
Oh, brother,
to come to truth.
I saw other videos. That's just one. I mean, there were some that were. I mean, there's one I really wish I could talk about. It was in 4K ultra high definition video. Anybody sees that video, and there's people in the intel community that have seen it, and they're just like, okay, yeah, that's a game changer. I mean, that there's no doubt what we're looking at that point. That is not ours. That's what frustrates me because those videos are there. There are people that are aware of it. A lot of people. It's kind of a bad kept secret at this point. The problem is how that video was taken, where it was taken, under the circumstances is very classified. So it probably won't ever see the light of day.
Convenient.
Yeah. No, I gotta tell you, look, honestly, where it was, I mean, I looking at it, I can say, yeah, that probably shouldn't come out. As compelling as it is, because it is. There's reasons to keep there's a couple videos there, well, more than a couple that really are sensitive because of the circumstances of the collection that we were doing. But there's other videos that I think should come out. I think you can scrub the metadata out of it, so you don't have locational data. There's ways where you can depixelate if you need to allow something to be released. And I'm for that. As long as we don't give away sources and methods, I think we should be as open as possible. The more videos we can release, the better. And look, some of them might have prosaic explanations, which would be great, right? Okay, case closed on that one. What about these other 10? What about these other 50? What about these other 100, right? Every time Arrow comes out with a report and they try to, and good on them, at least they're being honest with that. They're like, yeah, we had 144 incidents that we couldn't figure out. And then it became 300. Then it became 600. Then it became 800, right? And the numbers keep going up. Why? Because the more we look, the more we realize, shit, they're out there, man. There are things that are going on that, yeah, that's not our technology. We know that because we had no assets in the area at the time. And if that's adversarial technology, then we got a real problem because God forbid that this turns out to be adversarial technology. Because what would that mean? That would mean for the last 70 plus years, some foreign adversary has managed to engineer and deploy this capability over our sensitive military installations, over controlled U.S. airspace, and has done so with complete anonymity. Now, where was China back in the 1950s? In the middle of a famine.
Yeah.
Where was Russia? I mean, yeah, right. There's no way. And so this goes back to that question. What would that mean? Well, this would be the greatest intelligence failure this country has ever experienced, eclipsing that of even 9/11. Because despite the billions of dollars that we spend trying to keep a competitive technological advantage over our adversaries, has been eclipsed by again, order of magnitude by some sort of adversary. So, that in itself is a problem. People bring it up as a counter argument. Well, what if it's for an adversary? Okay, well, if it is now, we're in big trouble. If it's from back then, we're even bigger trouble.
But there's a third door here, and I got to play devil's advocate on this. And it doesn't. By the way,
I know what you can say.
I don't think there's so many different possible sightings of UFOs and capabilities. I don't think this can explain everything. To be clear, and I think mathematically, just to put my opinion out there so people know where I stand, I think mathematically, from what we even know about the galaxy, there has to be intelligent life out there somewhere. Whether or not it's been here, we can have that debate, but. I agree with you. I don't think it could be an adversary because they would have already fucking taken us at this point. That said, just in your program, in the Pentagon, you had a situation where guys like you were on such a small team that people above you and below you didn't even know it existed.
That's correct.
Okay. So who's to say that the same thing doesn't exist with, I don't know, DARPA, where there's such a limited number of people who are read in on the fact that physical world that we have as our current laws of physics, we had that figured out after we paperclipped everyone in 45. You know what I mean?
Let me just say, I hope that's the case. I would love that to be the case because then I can sleep a lot better at night.
Loosely is better at night. The Nazis helped us.
Well, my point being is that we have the technological advantage, right? That this would be some sort of blue force technology.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I would not be able to discuss at all what capabilities we might or might not have regarding any type of exotic technologies. Look, we got a lot of cool toys. We do.
If you even knew about it, though.
Even if whether I knew about it or not, I cannot confirm or deny anything regarding any type of blue force capability. What I can simply say is what we don't have, but I can't say what we have. I mean, let me see if I can be more explicit with this. I cannot tell you what we might have.
And again, and I'll take that a step farther for you. I'll say probably mathematically, statistically, you also, as much as you may know, there's a lot of stuff that you and anyone else on your team and on other secret teams in the government don't know about each other too.
Absolutely.
That's how it's set up.
We ran into that all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But the problem is someone needs to be the belly button. That's why when 9/11 happened, remember? Because the CIA had information, FBI had information, DOD had information. Well, it's useless if you don't have somebody coordinating it.
That's right.
That's a problem. So yes, if these other organizations existed, which looks like some did, then there needed to be a single belly button, and there wasn't. And what does that mean? That means that leads to waste of money, an uncoordinated effort, which is, again, what is it? That's a dysfunction of the government. So that needs to be fixed. That's the bureaucracy I was telling you about, the issue with the bureaucracy.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.